Hello, my name is Kirill Chepizhko. I'm a 3D artist, and in this video, we're going to be talking about color. More specifically, we're going to be talking about color swatches in KeyShot and how I use them, so a little bit of tips and tricks. You can see that I'm pretty much done with the model, and I'm done configuring the shaders. But the what really takes it to the next level is carefully picking the color scheme for your product, if we're talking about product design or concept art, whichever. And for that, KeyShot has a variety of color schemes or color libraries. So, for example, basic colors, classic, earthy, depending on the mood that you're going for this product style. And my favorite is the Pantone color libraries. You can use them for, like, for example, metallic coated for metals and pastels, whichever. It's just super convenient to address the matching the hue and making everything uniform. And if you don't have a lot of experience coming up with your own color schemes, which I don't, this little life hack is going to this website right here, and there are a couple of things you can do. Instead of designing your own color scheme, which is also pretty easy, and you can switch in between the rules, so like analogous, monochromatic, complementary. You can see when you start dragging just one, it kind of automatically stays within that harmony rule, so you don't really have to think about it. But so instead of doing that, you can go ahead and explore existing color schemes, and you can just type in, for example, like ice cream. And you get like a vibrant color scheme that you can apply, or in our case, maybe sport. And we can work with this color scheme for the watch, for example. So this is like a rule of, a number of 5, but you can expand those, adjust them. So that's definitely a good place to start. And then another thing you can do, look into the trends, which is super useful here. Fashion trends, graphic design, illustration, like a really lots of color schemes that you can steal. And we're stealing like an artist, somebody has already done the work, and we're just gonna pick the one that we like. So another thing you can do here, you can go to create and actually just pick the color scheme from an image. So I have this image of a watch right here. I'm going to drag and drop it. And you can move around the markers to get the right color. Yellow is correct. We can get the browns from here. And for example, this little bit of gives like a nice approximation. And of course, you can save that, export. You can also adjust kind of like the mood, so like tone it down, because the image can have different adjustment layers on them, so might not be super accurate. But this is a fairly useful tool for when you really need a color scheme that works. So what we're gonna do here, KeyShot has a really useful option called model sets, and you can use that to create basically like variations of your product. Let's say this watch, we wanted to have 3 different styles, and we're just gonna go through one, But to create a new style, we're gonna click this button right here, and it's gonna say add a new model set. So we'll just give it a name, click OK, and what happens is we keep this default model set, basically like something that we started from here, but every adjustment in terms of color is going to be kept in this different model set, so we can go back to it, play around with the colors, render separately, and keep it flexible. So let's just go ahead and try and come up with a color scheme that works. I'm going to keep the leather strap the same, but mostly I'm going to be worried about the colors on the face of the watch. And you're going to see that how much difference it makes. Right now, all these colors in the materials were picked pretty randomly, just what I thought it needed to be, but this extra step going through color swatches really takes it to the next level. So we're gonna start with one of the Pantone libraries. I'm thinking polyester. It doesn't really matter which one. I just really like the hues here, specifically for like vibrant colors. So I'm gonna start with metallics first and take care of the background, because it is technically, you can say that it's all black, but really I like it to stay within color scheme and match the hue. So let's try and find something that really works. Metallic shimmers, here you go. So you can just take and drag and drop it here and start trying different options. Maybe it needs to be bluish, kind of like this. That's too light for plastic. I want this rim of the smaller dials to also pop, and it has, you can see it has like different roughness on it, but I wanted to have a certain color accent. And different lighting conditions, of course, will make it look will give you a different result, but since we never changed that environment to anything, I think we're safe to just, for this particular render. And then the background. And also, if you wanted to get like a quicker preview of the final color, I would recommend switching the lighting mode to product and then turning the GPU render on. It's going to be much faster. It's going to think just a little bit here and switch to GPU. And you can see it pretty much doesn't take any time to have a really nice preview, no noise. You get these clean colors. So you get a much better representation of what's going on. It really depends on your graphics card. I'm sitting on two NVIDIA 2080 Ti's, so it's really robust. But if you have maybe like an older generation NVIDIA, you can just drop the shadow quality and reduce ray bounces. Oops. And just because for now what matters is going through iterations and looking for color, and we're not worried about exactly how good it looks in the viewport, but this is definitely good enough. This is super fast. So I also want like we're done with the basic colors, and I want to work on the accents. And as you saw in the example from the watch we used in the color swatches, it was some sort of like neon green. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into edit this material. For now this is just standard paint, but I'm gonna switch to metallic paint to get that little bit of metallic highlights on them. And we can take these colors and just drag and drop them right here. So this could be the base, and then the metal color can be different. Actually, we can probably drop it like that. Try to get something greenish. Clear coat color, and play with the thickness and adjust everything. And you can, this way you can get some really unique looking colors. And you can play around with how much metal is going to come through. And you can see the way I modeled this second hand is it has a little bit of a curve up so it catches the light. And this is what's going to have that highlight. This is why I want it to be metallic, to see that angle change in the geometry. Let's see, maybe drop the roughness of the metal, or and you can see that I'm staying within one color library because I wanted the colors to stay consistent, and that's pretty much the secret to having a well-balanced color scheme and a certain style to it. So I'm not going into color, and I'm not doing any adjustments by hand, not to lose that. But sometimes you could, you know, what matters is getting the nice result. Look at it at different angles, because it may just be an odd angle that you're working from. I want it to be a little more green. Let's see. And sometimes it's not exactly about color, but more about how much metal you have and how much it reflects and everything. So I think this is good enough here. It should play nicely with those gems, I guess, or phosphorus material. But for that, we need to go into product mode again. And we can actually drag and drop the values over there as well, if you want it to be darker. I'm gonna create one more model set and see, I'm just gonna name it 2, and see a different option, because I want to play around with the background of this thing. I want to see what it's gonna look like if we go a little more bold with the choices. Sounds like the background still needs to stay dark. And we're gonna render this thumbnail for that specific model set. And we can even drag and drop this into the metals. If it doesn't go into the metal, switch to color, and then you can drag and drop it. It's definitely not blue, but sometimes it's worth playing around with colors just to get a... Sometimes it just works. We're keeping this overall background theme bluish, but yeah, for metal, just gonna stay with something darker. Maybe something like this. And then if you really want to make it pop even more, maybe instead of the white letters, we can find, again, within the same, it was polyester, within the same color library, pick something like this, like a vibrant color. And this is where those color schemes come in handy, because if it doesn't quite work, you can always refer back to that color scheme. I think in this case, this is like a stealth mode. You can't quite see the digits. But I don't like them to be too bright. Let's drop this one completely. And then address the blue. Yeah, there's lots of options to figure out for your styles, but this is like a non-destructive way to go about it. You can always just turn this off, go back to the previous one, compare it to the original. So I feel like this is a pretty useful option, especially when you're only drag and dropping colors without adjusting them manually. So this should be it for colors.